This is Unusual Deaths, Episode 5. Well, a man named Jeffrey was sleeping in his house right here when all of a sudden a sinkhole opened up, and it sucked him down into the hole. He was heard at that night calling out for help after his brother and everybody heard the commotion. His brother actually jumped into the hole trying to find him, but once his brother was down there, he couldn't locate him. Ultimately, the police had to rescue his brother, but Jeffrey was never found. Well, a man named Denver had been fighting with his stepson when he actually got knocked out. While he was unconscious, his stepson gave him atomic wedgie, which is where you wrap your underwear all the way over your head. Well, he had a hole in his underwear, and the elastic band actually ended up wrapping around his neck and strangling him, and then his stepson was sentenced to 30 years in prison. A guy named Steven was decorating his mother-in-law's tombstone for Easter when, due to weather conditions, it actually toppled over and crushed him. A 13-year-old boy from Turkey was killed when a sacrificial goat jumped over a fence barrier on a rooftop and landed on him. I guess his father had put the goat up there because he had no other places to put him. A Brazilian man attempted to get it on with a female pig one night, but got actually attacked by the animals and ended up dying. His arms and his face were so mutilated by the animals that police initially thought that he'd been murdered and thrown in there. But after further investigating, they found that he had drank alcohol, put on a condom, and, well, you know. Two brothers aged 4 and 6 were sleeping at a friend's apartment when an African rock python actually slithered out of its enclosure and fell on them while they were sleeping. The python ended up wrapping himself around both boys and they suffocated to death. A Brazilian man was crushed to death by a cow that fell through his roof. You see, his house is set up next to a steep hillside, and the cow climbed on top of it, fell through, and crushed it. But both the cow and his wife, who was sleeping right next to him, were unharmed. Peter, an Indian football player from Mizoram State, died after spinal cord injuries he sustained awkwardly landing a celebratory somersault.